Hey Kansas City Church, what's up? I'm Samantha Whitaker and this is my husband Brian Whitaker and we are the City Kids Children's Pastors and we have something for you today. Check it out.
What's up guys, Brian here. As you just heard, I'm Samantha's husband. And I know in the past few videos everybody's been talking about hope. PJ, Josh, Pastor Ann have all been talking about hope and giving some insight into when they've needed hope and how they've had hope and how it's gotten them through things. And so I thought I would do something similar, talking about how it took hope for me and my relationship with Sam to eventually get to the point where we were married. It was a longer road than a lot of people might know for two people being so young getting married. For those of you who don't know, I fell in love with Sam when I was 18. I'm 27 now, if that gives you any sort of perspective. Been in love with her since I was 18, and there was just something about her. I couldn't really put my finger on it. She's beautiful, funny, fun to be around. I could be myself around her. But for lack of a better word, she didn't necessarily feel the same about me. And so I just started praying about it, praying and just really seeking God, because I knew that marriage is something that's very important. It's a huge step to take, and you definitely don't want to get in that boat with the wrong person. And so I prayed a lot about it, and I just felt in my heart that Sam was the one for me, even if the situations on the outside weren't reflecting what I knew in my heart and what I knew God had spoke to me. And so it took a lot of hope and a lot of perseverance, just knowing that, okay, God, I know you spoke to me this. I know you said that she's the one for me. And so that's what I'm going to believe. I wish I could say I did it perfectly, that I didn't mess up in aspects of, our relationship or things leading up to it. I definitely had the tendency to be clingy early on, and I know that that's a reason that maybe she felt like she didn't want to be with me at the time or whatnot, but I just knew. And I had people telling me, very close friends, just say, man, maybe you should just let her go. Maybe you should just move on. It's not going to happen. And I wasn't rude about it, but I was just kind of like, no, I'm not really going to listen to you because I know that God has spoken to me. And so there's one moment that I always look back to. It was after a youth rally years ago. I don't even know when this was. But, we used to go to youth rallies on like one Friday night a month or something like that. Often I would play drums at them. And so I was at this youth rally, and we went out and hung out afterwards, and I got home and I was reading my Bible. I was praying. It was probably around 1 a.m. It was pretty late. And I had just kind of reached a breaking point, and I said, God, do I just need to give up? Is this done? Is this really actually going to happen? And so I was just praying, and I was really just trying to be honest with God, and not try to manipulate my prayers so that I would get the answer that I wanted. I'd hit a point where I was like, if I need to move on, I will, even if it's going to be hard. And so I flipped open my Bible, and this is the first scripture I read when that happened. It was Romans 4:18, and it says, even when there was no reason for hope, Abraham kept hoping, believing that he would become the father of many nations, for God had said to him, that's how many descendants you will have. And that was just like God slapping me in the face almost. I was at a point where I had no hope. The situation on the outside said, this is never going to happen. You need to just walk away, give up. There's no point. And that just kind of sparked something else in me. And anytime I started doubting again, I would come back to that moment. Okay, that was a God moment. That was God speaking to me, because I needed it. I was about to give up. And that was something he put in me, and so that was able to give me the strength I needed to move on. And again, I didn't do it perfectly. I'm a human being, just like we all are. So it was just one of those breakthrough moments where hope really got me to where I am today. And now fast forward, that was, I fell in love with her when I was 18. We didn't start dating till I was 24. So that's a good 6-year gap where, I just had to trust God, and I had to, I made my mistakes, she made hers, but it all worked out, and we came together and we got married, and we've, it's been great, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful that I didn't give up, because I kept the hope, because I persevered. I now have a loving wife who we have a great relationship. We're very open with each other. We communicate to each other, and even more so as our families get along so well too, which you don't really see that a lot nowadays. It's, in-laws don't like each other. You don't like your in-laws kind of thing, but it's a great situation. So that's just kind of a personal story about how hope has impacted me and how God has used hope in my life. So that's just kind of a little example so you can get to know me a little better. But now I figured we could talk about something that's relevant today to everybody. So that was my story, so now we can talk about something that's everybody can kind of relate to. And I don't think it's any secret what's going on right now. There's a lot of craziness going on in the world, a lot of fear, a lot of panic that's happening. And I think right now something that we need is hope. Something that we need to choose to grasp onto is hope and perseverance through this whole virus situation, and just looking to God and knowing that He's God. He's got this. Nothing's out of His control, and that this isn't something that's too big for Him. And so when I was kind of just browsing through my Bible, preparing for this, a story that I think can kind of relate to today popped up. And it was, let me see here, it's Matthew 8:23, when Jesus calms a storm. So His disciples get in the boat, or He gets in the boat with His disciples, rather, and they're going across, where are they going across? I don't know, doesn't matter, body of water. And a storm just rises up, and it's putting waves into the boat, and all the disciples are freaking out, thinking that they're going to sink. And I think that can hit home right now. The waves are hitting them. It's affecting them. I don't think anybody listening today to this online or wherever you're at, watching this at work, at home, hanging out, has been affected by the coronavirus, the thing that's going on right now. I know I'm off work right now because of it. I know my wife's off work. I know pretty much everybody I know is not working right now, or if they're in school, they're online classes. Everyone's been affected by this. The waves are in our boat now because this thing has just gotten out of control. And so it says, then Jesus got into the boat and started across the lake with His disciples. Suddenly a fierce storm struck the lake with waves breaking into the boat, but Jesus was sleeping. The disciples went and woke Him up, shouting, "Lord, save us, we're going to drown." Jesus responded, "Why are you afraid? You have so little faith." Then He got up and rebuked the wind and waves, and suddenly there was a calm. The disciples were amazed. "Who is this man?" they asked. "Even the winds and waves obey Him." And I think that that's something that we need right now. Jesus is asleep while there's chaos going on around Him. Thunder, lightning, waves. I can't imagine, they didn't have a very big boat. That thing was probably getting tossed all over the place. And He gets up and He says, "Why are you guys so scared? You guys got so little faith." And then He just rebukes the wind, rebukes the waves, and it stops. And it says, suddenly there was a great calm. And so that's kind of what I'm, clinging to today through all of this is, God's got this. There might be waves crashing around us. Our boat might be rocking, and we might be afraid, but there's going to come a point when Jesus is going to rebuke it, and there's going to be a great calm. And I think we're going to come out of this better than we've been, better than we went in. And I think we'll have a new healthy perspective. And I think looking forward to that moment is really healthy right now. Looking towards, when sports are going to be back on, when we'll be able to go back to work. Just knowing that we are going to get out of this because it's not above God. And if we just hold on to that hope that nothing's above God, nothing's out of His control, then we will get that great calm that we're looking for. Thank